This morning I want to talk, first of all, about an experience I had about 5 years ago. I had a pretty major surgery that resulted in a number of complications afterward. One of which was an infection throughout my body that was resistant to any of the antibiotics that they had available. So things did not look good. So they called in a specialist, and he managed to take a sample of some of the infected material in my body, made a culture from that, and developed an antibody. So he developed a medicine from the poison that was in my body. And then that was given to me intravenously, slowly, over a period of several weeks, and I got better. So this morning, I'd like to talk about something similar, turning poison into medicine. Only I'm not going to talk about physiology. I'm going to talk about the poisons of the mind, what's traditionally called the three poisons in the Buddhist tradition: craving, aversion, and delusion. Craving is being fixated on a particular experience that we don't have in the present moment, that we're demanding that we have it, whether it be a taste of something or a touch of something or a particular acknowledgement or whatever it is. You see, we're hooked. Craving is being hooked. Aversion is hatred, anger, fear, running away, pushing away any experience. And delusion is being unconscious. There's actually two forms of delusion. One is ignorance, that's just being plain old unconscious. And the other delusion is defined as believing something to be true that isn't. So, greed, craving, and delusion are the three poisons. And what I want to do is talk about how to take those three poisons and turn them into medicine, the medicine that heals the mind, the body, the soul. And potentially the world. So the process that I'm going to describe has an acronym to help us remember it. The acronym is ROAR, ROAR. R stands for recognize. So the first step is recognizing when greed, craving, aversion, hatred, delusion arise. Now let's recognize it within ourselves. It's very easy to recognize the external attributed cause, as we call it. It's really a trigger, it's not a cause. Look what he did, look what they did, look at the danger we have, et cetera, et cetera. So recognition is recognizing our own experience of craving, aversion, delusion, and so forth. So as soon as possible, we recognize craving and aversion. Ideally, we recognize it as it arises. But sometimes at first we don't recognize it until minutes or hours afterwards, maybe even days afterwards, when we get triggered by something. And we're absolutely convinced that it's because of what somebody did or didn't do. And we can see that our own craving and aversion, our own poisons were really what's at work. So the first step is that R, recognizing. The O is to observe. To observe without prejudice, to observe the experience of craving. Observe it also includes feeling it, feeling and paying attention to. This is greed, this is craving. Not, I can't get what I want, but rather, this is the wanting itself. Or I hate this, or I'm afraid of that, but this is the hatred and the fear itself. So we feel that, if we can, in the body, in the emotions, notice it in the mind. We do this without any judgment. I shouldn't be craving, I shouldn't be hating, whatever. In other words, there's no overlay. There's no prejudice. There's no prejudgment. Just a bare awareness. What is greed? What is craving? What is hatred? What is fear? What is anger? Then the A, R-O-A, A is, we apply the remedy. We apply the antidote, if you will. So the antidote for delusion is clear seeing, seeing what's true. The antidote for craving is to relax and open. Because craving is grasping. We squeeze our hand when we crave. We want to hold on. We want to cling. So opening and relaxing and letting go. And the antidote for fear and hatred is to welcome and embrace each experience. So opening, allowing, letting go. And again, if we keep coming back to the object of what the trigger, the cause externally seems to be, just keep coming back to this is the experience of pure anger, pure greed, pure craving, pure fear. Feeling it, allowing it to be there, and then welcoming, opening, and letting it be. And that's the fourth letter is R, which stands for relax. Relax could also be release. We just allow the experience to be what it is. We recognize it, we pay attention to it, we open, we welcome, and then we relax. So we're not attached to, I've got to get rid of this particular craving, or I've got to get rid of this fear, or I've got to change anger into love, or I need to forgive, so we let go of any striving to get somewhere and just notice what it is we feel when we relax and let things be as they are. R-O-A-R, roar. And of course, the fourth R could also be called return. Return to any of the previous steps as necessary. Recognizing, observing, applying, and relaxing. And then, after hearing this, I can imagine someone, like myself, probably, who would raise a question, saying, well, that's all fine, but what if the danger's real? I can't just sit and silently roar. I need to maybe do something, huh? So what do you do then? Well, the answer is, or my answer is, if you can, first roar. First look at your own experience. Then after, as the poet Blake would say, after cleansing the doors of perception, after clearing out as much as possible the poisons, the craving, the aversion, the delusion, then tap into your own inner wisdom, which is always present. You are, and you have always been, a wise, compassionate being. That's our very nature. But this wisdom and compassion gets overlaid and distorted by the poisons. So when we apply the antidotes, when we heal the poison, we have access to that clear thinking, that open mind, that compassion, the wisdom. And whatever needs to be done or not done, you'll know. You'll know it when you need to know it. You may not know it 3 days ahead of time, or even 3 hours ahead of time, but you'll know it when you need to know it. So first we go within, and then we make our choices. And oftentimes we need to repeat this process. It can be iterative. We keep going back. So, sometimes, of course, if the danger is immediate, we do whatever we need to do. If there's a bus coming at you, why, don't say, well, let's see, what was that first one, you know. You get out of the way of the bus, of course. But if you do have time to breathe, which most of the time we do, to breathe and reflect, I use the metaphor of clean your glasses. Clean the perception before we look around and choose what we're going to do. And then trusting the innate wisdom, the innate compassion that is within you. As human beings, we have a survival instinct that's kept us alive for many, many years. So trust that. And trust the higher wisdom that is within you as well. So just in conclusion, to roar is to turn poison into medicine, and roar is recognize, observe, apply, and relax. Thank you for sharing your practice with us.
I prepared a short message here just to share with everybody. Again, hello friends, and I hope that this message finds you all well in body and mind. As briefly as possible, I wanted to let you know what's going on here at Temple Buddhist Center and at Unity Temple on the Plaza during the flu crisis. The leadership team here at the temple has decided that social distance is the safest and surest way of dealing with the outbreak of COVID-19. And not only does it keep our most vulnerable members of our Sangha safe, but it is the best way to reduce the spread of the virus. So during this time, we ask that you embrace our efforts to maintain spiritual nourishment through our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and website pages. We're actually even exploring a Zoom option for creating some webinar-style classes. So please take time to like or share this Facebook event with your friends or other communities that you might know of that could perhaps benefit from these messages and teachings. And again, as I said earlier, in just a month or two when this blows over and we come back together, we can rejoice not only in seeing each other again, but we'll have a stronger web presence as well. The lack of physical presence for our service will be very hard on both Unity Temple and Temple Buddhist Center over the next month and a half. So your donations, love offerings, and dana are more important now than ever. And so we're trying to take steps to help people figure out how to donate or give their love offerings. And as I said, one new way is to simply text Unity Temple to 77977. But as always, you can just send a check to Unity Temple on the Plaza, and all that information is on the Facebook page or on the website. The website also has a donate or a give button, so you can also give in those ways. And as always, myself, Victor Doherty, Robert Brumet, Duke Tufty, the senior minister here, Sandra Campbell, and all the other ministers want to be available to you at any time during this period, because we understand that not coming together in Sangha can be very hard for some folks, because this is how they get their spiritual nourishment, coming together. So if you would email me at victordoherty@unitytemple.com, and that information is on the Facebook page and also on the website, then I will be sure to get you connected with any of the members of our community that could be of assistance or service to you. Also, you can call area code 816-994-8015, which is my office number, and we can set up a time to meet either through Zoom or Skype or something like that. Because as I said, we want to be available to everyone to help us all work through this difficult time. Please be sure to watch the Facebook page and the website for lots of upcoming things. Robert and I were talking about doing a little live streaming interview talking about the Buddhist perspective on a pandemic, talking about things such as isolating ourselves and working with fear. I've also got some other folks lined up to do some little interviews. I'm going to create something called the Buddha and the Bean, which is just like a little coffee discussion about various teachings and things. I might do that with Michael Cochran, one of our teachers, or some other folks. And of course, this could be a great time for a Buddhist pajama contest. So all of you folks that are at home who get to enjoy the service in your pajamas, we'll have a little thing where you can send in a photo with you and your family in your pajamas, and the winner will receive something, I don't know what. I'm making all this up as I go. So again, thank you all so much, and please stay tuned to our social media and website pages. That's the only way we can communicate with you right now. Watch your email for some upcoming news bulletins and things like that. And we will see you again here in a few short weeks. We're hoping to reestablish the service on April 12th, which is Easter weekend, but of course that does remain still to be seen. So again, thank you all so much for joining us, and peace and blessings and happy YouTubing.